Welcome back, everyone. It's another episode of The Angry Chicken. I say
Oh my God.
I say this every time that we do a call-in episode on Tuesday, but we just did this yesterday.
I feel like we're angry chickening so much that it's like, oh my God, it's another episode. It's like, whoa, it's like another episode. Are you guys sure?
You sure? Are you sure? Maybe we should back off
a lot of chicken.
a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, this is our patron call-in episode, so we will be talking to some of our patrons who are calling in on Skype. And Mr. Dills is, I believe, literally putting out server fires.
Yes, from what I understand, there are literal actual fires. He's there with like a fire extinguisher and shit is just getting crazy. So he is urgently needed elsewhere.
Yeah. That's the technical term for everything that's going on. Shit getting crazy.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So if you are watching live, feel free to start calling right now. The information is on patreon.com/TAC. If you are a patron, you should be able to see that. Add the Skype account and start calling. Usually people are calling by now, so they're not. So Jocelyn, the Warsong Commander nerf went live.
I know. I saw that. I can't remember who it was, but somebody tweeted us with the picture of the new card, and I was just kind of like, I have a couple of gold ones, so dust for me, right?
So wait, so you crafted gold Warsong Commanders?
No, hang on. Maybe I don't have Warsong
They're
Commanders.
basic cards.
Are they? Oh, must be from leveling the warrior then, because I'm like, I know I've seen a gold one.
So
Why the hell do I have a gold
no
one?
dust for you.
Yeah, damn it.
No, I'm just like, wait, how does that even know? No, you can do that, but no, it's so yeah, it's live. Patron
Yay.
is dead, and now everyone is just going to start hating Secret Pally even more. I assume. Mysterious Challenger is the next card that everyone is going to scream at the top of their lungs needs to be nerfed, and when it is nerfed, everyone is going to complain that it was nerfed.
Yeah, well, you know what? This is the thing. As soon as one thing is nerfed, there's always something else that people are calling for to be changed. Like, I mean, we saw it with Big Game Hunter, Dr. Boom. You know, whenever there's a really strong card, the community needs something to latch onto. And I agree, Secret Pally is not fun to play against, but it's not impossible to play around. It's just that you need to put maybe less optimal cards in your deck to tech around it, like something like Kazan, but even then that doesn't help as much as something like Flare and Hunter, but then that forces people into Hunter, and I don't know, like, I'm on board with Secret Pally is not fun necessarily to interact with, and especially in the mirror match when you've got like one person pulls Mysterious Challenger, one person doesn't, and that dictates the game. It doesn't feel like it takes a whole lot of skill. At least Patron felt like it took skill to pilot. There were a couple of different win conditions depending on the kind of like people you were playing against, I guess, like the kind of deck you were playing against.
Yeah.
So I
there's
feel
a dog.
like puppy.
Sorry.
There's somebody else in the call now.
Finish your thought, Joss, and then we'll introduce our caller.
Yeah, so I think that of anything, I would have rather seen something change with Mysterious Challenger. Where we just had a nerf, I don't think we're going to see anything for a really long time, if we ever do. So, but I think in terms of fun in the game, Mysterious Challenger is a bigger problem than Patron was, but I don't know. This is my kind of problem with nerfing cards, is it's such a slippery slope, especially a change that's just this big.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I would argue both Patron and Secret Paladin are pretty non-interactive, and I would argue that Secret Paladin is more interactive playing against them than say just getting OTK'd by a frothing berserker.
That's true. Mostly, I think, like I said, the problem with that Paladin deck specifically is the mirror matchup. It just it doesn't feel good.
So anyway, we do have a caller now, the Jen.
Yay!
Hello, the
Hi.
Jen, if that is
Hi,
your
Jen.
real name, and that
I
is.
connected, and then my rescue puppy he likes to, I don't know, he gets excited by Skype sounds, I think.
Well, if your rescue puppy is also your Skype avatar, he's shooting like lasers of death at me through the internet.
That's actually the other rescue puppy. I may have a problem.
Oh, okay.
I don't think rescuing puppies is a problem, Jen. Just saying.
It is when my husband and I might have a few too many.
All right. How many are too many?
We're at just to nobody thinks we're hoarders. We're at capacity right now, but we have we have 2 rats, 3 cats, and 2 dogs.
That's not bad.
That's
I have 2 ferrets, 2 cats, and 1 dog.
See, so you understand.
Yeah, I get it, man. I can't say
And
no to
they're
the.
all awesome.
That is, I can't say the same. One of our ferrets is the worst pet I've ever had,
Oh no.
and our cats.
Ferrets smell really bad.
Male ferrets do, and it is the male ferret. So I really wish we had just stuck with girls.
Oh boy. Yeah, I had a female ferret once. She was pretty cool, but she would steal my keys and hide them, and I actually ended up late for work a lot because the ferret she would hide them. She would find like little crevices in the apartment, and she would haul them in and I finally found her spots. But yeah, I was late for work all the time because of her.
Man, that's nuts. Yeah, we ours have like a 3-story habitat cage thing, so they don't just have free.
Like the Ferretville.
Yeah, they don't have just free run because you have to ferret-proof your house if you're gonna let them free run, and it's hard to do.
Well, yeah, and you think that they can't get into things? They can.
They can, yeah.
And to be fair, our cat does that. One of our cats, he crawls behind our kitchen counters, under the countertops behind the cabinets, and we found out that he somehow wiggles behind the dishwasher. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yep. Ours do.
Animals are fun.
Exactly the same thing, and we are very far from the first tenants in this house too. So we're like, oh god, please don't let old rat poison or something be back there.
Yeah. No. See, no good. Now I have to say, Las Magus has been making me very happy, Garrett. I
just the title of the
my
episode or the Casino Mage deck?
The Casino Mage deck. Basically, whenever I get frustrated and I'm like, okay, I've played the same deck in a row, I'm facing nothing but the same. I haven't been able to rank this season very well, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this deck, and I can kind of control it, but at the same time, what's gonna happen happens. And like yesterday, I played a Matter Bomber because I'm missing some of the other items. So I played a Matter Bomber.
So you just embraced the chaos then. You were like, how do I take a deck that I can't really depend on anything and make it even less dependable? I know.
Exactly.
Matter
and then
Bomber.
Just have fun with it. Okay. And I had 6 1/1s of some type because it was Secret Paladin, and their Haunted Creeper turned into 2 1/1s, and then they had just Mustard, so they had all these 1/1s out there, and I'm like, all right, Matter Bomber, don't tick me off. Let's see what you can do. And he did. Just systematically fired down the line, and I was like, yes! Way to go,
great.
Casino Mage.
I thought you were going to say, you pulled Flame Leviathan or something right at the right time and cleared the whole board. I was like, that would have been so good.
Oh, that's
Matter
amazing.
Bomber, man, he gets it done sometimes. No, I've been so just kind of annoyed with ranked. I normally really enjoy climbing, and right now it's just, Secret Pallies and Hunters, Face Hunters, and at least we won't see Patron Warriors anymore.
No.
I'm not so happy what they did with the nerf, but I am super happy to not see Patron Warriors.
Now, Jen, I do have to counter with, if you are annoyed by Face Hunters, you apparently have been annoyed by Ladder for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm not really annoyed by Face Hunters necessarily. It's just I feel like I only play 3 decks and that's it. I want to play against more. I want there to be more creativity, and it's hard because you can't make that happen.
I'm right there with you. I don't think it's necessarily. It can be. It can come down to a deep-seated hatred against one deck in particular. I definitely had that with Miracle Rogue way back when, but now more than ever, it's kind of a boredom with kind of how stale the meta has gotten, and it's kind of crazy how quickly it leveled out after the grand tournament.
I expected some of the jousting to be, I don't know, I thought people would play around with those more. I don't know, I was hoping.
Yeah, sadly, I was kind of right. I didn't think joust was going to go far, and it didn't. There's maybe 2 that I think are pretty darn good. And even then, I'm trying to think of a second. I'm pretty sure it's just 1. It's like the Master Jouster. I love that card. But also,
which one's he? The Master Jouster.
He's the one that gets
the one that turns into a taunt.
Yeah, Divine Shield.
Taunt with Divine Shield.
Divine Shield. Yeah.
I use him in Arena all the time. Usually when I pull him in Arena, it's great.
Most Joust cards in Arena are really good because they're pretty well costed already without the Joust effect, which means, sure, why not in Arena? But then if you get the Joust effect, they're insane. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if we're talking Arena, Joust has actually, I feel, brought a lot of fun and a lot of new stuff to Arena. But if we're talking constructed, I feel like Joust had almost no effect whatsoever.
Inspire had more of an effect.
Oh,
There's a lot
absolutely.
of Inspire cards that do see play, but still not nearly as much as, say, like mechs from GVG.
Yeah, well, you can control Inspire. You can't control Joust.
Yeah.
I have to say, the Joust in Arena has actually, one of the things that it does for me too is more about knowing what's in their deck too. Like getting to see one of their minions is, that information in an arena run is so powerful that that's
True.
actually one of the reasons I love having Joust cards in my arena, because I have no idea. I have no idea what they pulled. I have no idea how many of anything. So if I get to see one of their big minions and know, oh man, they're gonna have a Savannah High main eventually, I'm gonna need to watch out for that, is
But you
really helpful.
You don't want to see one of their big minions. You want to win the Joust.
Well, I do want to win the Joust, but even if
But
I
the
don't win the
information
Joust,
is-
I do know.
You know, 1/30th of their deck.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, you never know. It might make a difference. I definitely have used the information before. I don't know. I like the Inspire cards, mostly the flavor of it. That's just, they all have really good emotes. This expansion had really great. I just had a lot more fun with it. I thought I'd like Goblins versus Gnomes. It was okay. But this one, the flavor, like the Raider, I love him, and I don't know. I think they got really back to the really good flavor. I just wish the cards were better.
They did a good job too. I just wish the meta would have stayed in flux a little longer. Because it feels like we're already in that kind of we're already in that point now where it's just like we're just seeing really small tweaks. We're like now in the tweaking phase as opposed to the whole new archetype phase, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like the honeymoon just ended way too soon with TGT.
We thought
And
it was
I
going to
want-
have this big, huge impact, and then it just kind of went split.
And I want to play my Shaman. I do play a Shaman deck, and every once in a while I win a game. It's got like a 40% win rate or something terrible, and I play it, but I would love to be able to play Shaman.
Oh man, yeah.
I really want to.
I mean, you be careful talking to me because we had it walked on last night. And we were talking about like, man, you get a little angry about Warriors in Arena. I get a little angry about Shaman and Constructed.
Yeah.
That it's been long enough. I'm really done with them sucking.
I think they really need to change something with the way that Overload works.
Yes.
I feel like I mean, we talked about it on the show before, where that's really what's holding the class back, and I think there's a lot of ways you could change that.
It's Overload plus the fact that they have the most uncontrollable, possibly
so much
least
random,
impactful hero power in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I feel like, if we could see a change to Overload, like maybe it was something that you did to an opponent as opposed to something that was done to yourself, or maybe if your minions were a little bit more powerful so that it made that Overload effect kind of balance out a little. I don't know, but I really think that that's the problem. So hopefully we see some sort of change. Yeah.
I mean, Hex is one of the most amazing cards. Like, in Hearthstone, Hex is one of the most incredible cards.
Yep.
And there's a few other things like that they have. It's just they don't have, I agree, Overload. It's just so costly. You just can't maintain any realm of tempo at all when you're playing Shaman.
It's rough.
Poor Shaman.
Oh, and by the way, Garrett, before I let you guys go on to somebody else who wants to call in, congrats on the wedding, man. And I was there 2 years ago planning my wedding. My mom and I pretty much did everything for it. And so I completely understand the stress and excitement and all happening simultaneously.
Well, thank you, Jen. Yeah, no, Katie's been amazing.
I know my mom was I always tell my mom, I was like, you're so awesome. I don't know how you did all of that, and we somehow afforded everything, and it was awesome. But it was also like one of the best days ever. It's so funny because I have like 6 other friends that have gotten married, and they spent like just so much money, and they went to a venue, and it was just, their weddings were okay, but everybody talks about how much fun my husband and our wedding was, and I'm like, see, it's because we had a good place, and it was just a different, I don't know, I think it's better that way.
Yeah, no, I'm right there. I'm looking forward to it. We're over. I feel like the biggest portions of the stress humps, but
Stress humps?
yeah, you gotta make it over those humps, man. Gotta make it over those humps.
All the stress humps.
Man.
All the stress humps, yeah.
Thanks for letting me call in, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. I've been having so much fun. I enjoy the Brawl episode when the Brawl doesn't suck like it did last week. But,
Right there with you. Not the best pro in the
Thanks
world.
again, guys.
Have a good one,
Thanks for
Jen.
calling, Jen.
Bye.
Alrighty, and now we're adding Mr. Barry Von Awesome. Who
That was
Leave it
unexpected.
surely.
I was still listening to the other call just ending. Hello.
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 I do want to be introduced from now on, though, as he who came in tied for 33rd place in the Fall Taco tournament. I was going to ask about this, but then I managed to look it up during the first call and figure out, because after the tournament ended, I was like, I wonder if it actually places you in an order, and it does.
It does. It does. Yeah. I would say achievement unlocked, but you're so far down that totem pole. I would actually argue that maybe I would say achievement invented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing I have to claim to fame is the guy who beat me and eliminated me from the tournament came in second. So
There you go. That's what you cling to.
That's
So lost to the runner-up, Barry Von
that
Awesome.
is
There you go.
definitely something. Okay.
yeah, he's really good, but he didn't win either, so he's not that great.
Like when I played in my first Magic Grand Prix last year, and I made it to the third round, and I'm sitting next to people with like World Tour or Pro Tour playmats. I'm just like, oh god, oh this is gonna suck. But also, hey, I made it to the table with Pro Tour players, so hell yeah. And then I lost. I lost that round. So
Yeah, and I managed to beat him in one of the matchups, so he didn't sweep me either. So there was that.
There you go.
And I will tell you this: it was a paladin, control paladin deck that I stole directly from Garrett.
oh wow, so
Yeah.
that's an
That
old
was your
deck.
problem.
Yeah, well, no, that's the one I won with.
That's the one he won with, Jocelyn. Jeez. Wow, that's an old deck list. I haven't played Control Paladin in like 7-8 months.
Yep, I've been playing it still. I just have it on there, and I was like, I need a third deck. No one will expect this because there's like no TGT cards in that deck.
Right. And we actually saw a lot of Control Paladin in the North American qualifiers, and they didn't look that different from old school Control Paladin. So it probably, no, I was about to say it was probably pretty good, but hey, you won a game with it, so clearly, totally still working.
That's right. I spent a lot of time. I went in with a Mech Mage and that Control Paladin deck, and then I was like, I need a third deck, and I don't know what the heck to go in with. So I spent a lot of time leading up to the tournament, like trying to learn Patron Warrior, and I just failed miserably. I'm just no good at it. So,
Yeah, that can be kind of tough. That can be a little rough to learn literally the most complicated deck in the history of the game. Kind of cram for it. It's kind of tough. It's like, well, I've got a open heart surgery tomorrow. I guess I'd better crack open this book and read.
Yeah.
It's kind of rough, but I'm glad you had a good time, man. You did well. I mean, there were a lot more than 33 players in that tournament, so you made some headway.
yeah, well, I got a bye in the first round. That helped.
Shh. I'm trying to compliment you here. I'm trying to inflate your status here, man. You're not helping.
That's right.
You're not helping at all.
The one thing I did want to ask though, with this nerf to Patron Warriors or whatever, what do you think that means for the World Championship? Were people playing a lot of Patron Warrior in tournament play?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a ton. I
Is
think
everyone going to blame this nerf on whoever wins or loses? They're going to be like, well, if he had his Patron Warrior
Oh,
deck.
absolutely.
And I think
We're
those people
just
are
that
fundamentally
commentary.
flawed.
Yeah.
Because I think if you weren't able to adapt, then you shouldn't have won anyway. This affected literally every player equally. Like it's not a single deck. It was a single deck format, and certain players were known for Patron Warrior and Patron Warrior only. Then there'd be a leg to stand on in that claim. But it is a 3-deck format, so I'm sorry.
It is a 3-deck format, but at the same time, changing the rules right before the World Championship does basically introduce another factor for choosing the winner, which is adaptation. Like, do you want to be adaptation to be the criteria for your world champion? And, or do you want like 8 months of prep to be the criteria for making a world champion? And I just think making any kind of change right before the World Championships, it's really not that fair to anybody. But I mean, like we mentioned on the show, like even the pros that are in the World Championship are totally split on this whole Patron Warrior nerf issue.
Yeah. I do.
It's going to make a more interesting tournament for us as spectators. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we're going to see Freeze Mage come back, which is really cool because Freeze Mage got punished pretty hard by patrons, so I like watching Freeze Mage.
Yeah, and also to answer your hypothetical, I do want adaptation to play a role, which it technically already has over the course of the 8 months because we have had adventures and expansions drop. So how I look at this, and I'm like, how is this?
Like you drop an adventure and that happens in March, and you still have until November to adapt. Like
you could have complained.
It's such a small window.
You could make the exact same complaint about tournaments that happened in March, though, that were giving out World Championship points.
Well, tournaments giving World Championship points is another issue. But
it's part of the same issue, and that's the point I'm making. Is it's not as black and white. The point I'm trying to make is if you out there say, "Oh, my favorite player didn't win because he didn't have Patron," you're just making excuses, and you're not actually diving into an intelligent discussion.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cause a fight.
No, and this is a conversration that Garrett and I have
This
had
has literally been like our text and Skype messages since
for
this
like literally
nerf got
3
announced.
weeks now.
Got announced, and I'm just like, but no, this is all connected. Like, yes, it is technically another piece of it, but it's all the piece of the same. Hearthstone esports need to be looked at from
Revamped,
a larger lens. It's all,
and at least
all
we
part
agree
of
on
that
Hearththone as an esport needs to be revamped.
Yeah, no, and I agree with your points, Jocelyn. Like, it does, like, that doesn't look good. Like, this kind of change. I want to see adaptation. I would rather see adaptation come from an expansion release or an adventure release. I don't want to see a change to one specific card like this, especially a nerf this close to the tournament. I don't think it looks good. It seems unprofessional.
That is actually a really great way to put it. It's unprofessional and not very sportsmanlike.
Right. And it for me, it brings up I dive back down it should be more like Magic in this way. Like, if they shared the release schedule with us, that would also go a lot further to legitimizing Hearthstone as a competition, because you would know as a professional competitor when these giant holy crap, everything's going to be upset moments will be coming. Instead, we get, maybe if we're lucky, 4 weeks of notice.
Yeah, and it goes the same for these big tournament organizers too. If they had a release schedule for the year, they could say like, okay, we're going to see a huge release on July 1st. So no tournaments for 3 weeks after release or something like that. You know, it would allow these big tournaments to plan around those big releases and all of that chaos a little bit better. And again, like, just make the whole thing that little bit more legitimate.
Yeah.
And where we do live in a digital game that can change, it's a little bit different than traditional sports, but traditional sports would never do this. And I think that's where this is falling down a little bit. It's a huge rule change. Like, the whole reason that Warsong was nerfed is because it had such an impact on the game, such an impact on the meta. So if you're going to have a huge impact and you're going to take that deck completely out, and they knew they were going to do that. They knew that was the result of this nerf. It wasn't something that was going to kind of hamper Patron a little. They knew they were taking the deck out of the game, and that was the deck that all the main players were playing. If you just took a big chunk of the game out of any professional sport, like, that would just never happen. So I think it illegitimizes Hearthstone as an esport when it's already in kind of a precarious position.
Well said.
Thank you.
I'm not going to go with but no, those are all really freaking good points. I'd love to see a release window. I'd love to see seasons based around that release window.
I would love to see releases on the first of the month. Like, whenever you start a new monthly season, that's when you should release new cards. Not like the last week, not randomly throughout. Like, you've got a new competitive season, rule change, new cards, day one. End of it.
I disagree entirely. Because Hearthstone esports are vaguely related to Hearthstone Ladder. Which, again...
Well, as long as you're getting World Championship points and again, this comes down to the balance of points, where there's, right now, there's definitely a bias towards tournaments as opposed to Ladder, which I think you put a whole lot more time into Ladder than you do into a tournament. So I think that it should be a little more equal than it is right now. Mm-hmm. But if the points were distributed equally, if it was a little bit more fair, and if ladder was weighted a little more heavily than it is now, then I would say you really, really need to treat the ladder season with a little bit more respect than they do right now.
Okay. Jim the Shovel makes a good point. What do you do for adventures? They last 5 weeks. What's
Well,
your
and
answer
see,
to
this
that,
is the
Miss? I
thing
have all the
about
answers,
just-
Jocelyn.
Well, this is the thing about adventures, though, because right now they're looking at Hearthstone, and I think they've done this since release. They're looking at Hearthstone as a way to have fun. They're not looking at Hearthstone, or they're not prioritizing Hearthstone as an esport. And I think that comes down to what Blizzard wants to do with this game. Do you want it to stick around? Do you want it to be competitive? Do you want it to be the way that StarCraft was when it first came out? Or do you just want people to have fun? And if you just want people to have fun, sure, keep nerfing, keep releasing whatever, keep adventures on a 5-week schedule. If you want it to be taken seriously as an esport and move esports as a whole, because I think this impacts just the esport industry too, because like a lot of people in mainstream everything, mainstream sports, mainstream just in general, look at esports and go, wait, what the hell? And so if we want to be taken seriously as gamers, as esports, and as professionals, then you need to move a little bit closer to what mainstream understands, to traditional rules. And that's where I think maybe we look at changing adventures. Do you get all 5 wings at once? Like, why not just have everything all at once, and you unlock it as fast as you can unlock it, and then you've got access to those cards. It's day 1 of the season, and you go and you compete your butt off. But this staggered release stuff, it's not really conducive to esports being taken seriously.
Well put. Barry Von Awesome.
I'm nodding, yes.
Barry, you
I keep talking, and then there's just like dead silence. I'm like, hello?
I'm just looking. Barry is just like, man, I got way more than I bargained for from that little tee up.
Nope, that was exactly what I wanted to do. Make some discussion happen. It was good.
Oh, well, thank you, Barry. Thank you.
I won't be at BlizzCon this year. I got the agoraphobic. I got the agoraphobia package. I'm watching from home again.
You will have a much better idea of exactly what went down than we will.
Yeah,
I know,
but
and
Garrett,
I can watch it. I can watch it on demand, and I bought in for the swag bag stuff this year too. So
Nice.
it's like I'm going without any of the actual like having to go and the cost for hotels and flights. It's great.
Yeah,
The swag bag
Garrett,
this year is
we
the
have
most
to have a pack
disappointing.
this year. We are not waiting in line for the store.
Oh,
I ordered
no.
a bunch of stuff ahead of time.
Done.
There will be no store
Not
lineup.
happening. Not happening. No. Unless there is something that is only at BlizzCon that is just amazeballs.
And we can go during Lincoln Park.
Oh God,
That's
yeah.
when we'll line up.
That's when we're lining up. During one of the bands I forgot that still was around.
I didn't know they were still around.
Yeah.
Did they really just announce that band like 2 days ago?
They always wait until
Literally.
the last possible second to announce a band.
And wasn't it today? Was it yesterday?
It was
or
today. It was
Today,
today.
Yeah, I just heard about that today. I guess.
Yeah, because it was today. It announced it. So you're up to snuff. You're in the know, Barry. Don't worry about it.
I'm on Twitter. It's fine.
Just heard a bunch of snarky me. I try not to be super snarky on Twitter, but when it comes to music, like that's just where my snark lies. I'm such a snob. Like I'm just like, oh, Linkin Park. Oh yeah, I like that when I thought everything that my dad said was stupid.
Linkin Park just makes me think of the credit sequences from Transformers movies.
No, that's a good point too. Yeah, that's funny. Huh. Yeah. To me, they were like Limp Bizkit, like evolved. Like if Limp Bizkit evolved in Pokemon, it evolved into Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Your Limp Bizkit is evolving.
You get it, Linkin Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even want to know what the final form of that might be.
Justin Bieber?
No, that's not right.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. The terrible genre that is like shitty new metal rap rock is kind of dead. It kind of ended at
New metal rap rock.
It ended at Linkin Park. So
That is true.
I don't know.
I feel like I really liked Linkin Park back in the day. There was like one album that was actually pretty good. And to be fair, I'm just going to tell everyone right now, I also really liked Limp Bizkit when I was in like grade 9.
Well,
so
yeah,
that
no.
was the thing.
That's the thing. Like I was going into high school when Limp Bizkit was huge and when Hybrid Theory came out, and at the time
Hybrid Theory, I think
thought
that's
it was
yeah.
the best thing in the world. However, I don't know. I also thought Jinko cargo shorts were the coolest thing in the world, and backwards red Yankees hats was a good thing. So I wasn't the most intelligent person on the planet.
I had like the really, really tight at the top, like 2 like gigantically flared bell bottoms with like the paint smear down the side.
Oh my god.
This girl.
Oh man. But Backstreet Boys are in sync.
Backstreet Boys.
Okay, you and Katie are. That's why you're friends. That's why you two are friends. Barry, I'm gonna get some other callers in here, man. But thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I almost hung up
Good
on you guys
question.
after the last couple minutes of that conversation.
I do not blame you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Oh man, just pouring the haterade on. I apologize, Linkin Park
I think
fans.
it'll be fun to have that music in the background, if that makes sense. Like it'll be a little bit nostalgic while I do other things.
To bring it into a more reasonable ending point, I feel like, and I said this a bunch on Twitter today, music is hard. You're not gonna please everybody. Music is something that it's like religion and politics. Everyone has their own very personal, very narrow like thing that they really enjoy. And it's hard to hit on all of that. And Linkin Park's a crazy popular band. Makes sense to get them for a large convention like this. Me personally, I couldn't give less of a shit. Richard, welcome to the call.
Hello, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, thanks for calling.
Yeah, I was thinking about actually now that with a nerf on Patron Warrior, what do you think about the mid-range Paladin? I've been playing that the Paladin decks now for a while, and I was just thinking about your view on it.
Oh, well,
myself?
mid-range Paladin is one of my favorite deck archetypes ever, but I haven't played it lately. I really, since TGT came out, I stopped playing mid-range Paladin, so I haven't gone back into it. I am aware, I know it's very popular right now, and I am seeing it here and there, not nearly as much as I am seeing Secret Paladin.
Unfortunately.
But I love it. It's probably my favorite deck archetype overall. It's just that I played so many games of it during GVG that I wanted to try some new stuff when TGT came out, and I think it's really stood the test of time. We've seen it kind of persist really kind of ever since Muster was released. So I'm a big fan of it, and it's a deck that if you play a lot and you learn really well, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a good tournament deck. I think it's a good ladder climbing deck.
Well, and I think other than Secret Paladin, anything that was kind of a more late game, mid to late game Paladin got really punished by Patron because your hero power enables more patrons, right?
Exactly.
So you get to a certain point in the game, if it gets that long that you can't hero power anymore, you can't do things like muster, all your dudes essentially become useless because you don't want to, first of all, fill up the board because of frothing, and you don't want to give them more things to bounce patrons off of. So I think with Patron going away, it enables that late game Paladin again. And it's the same sort of idea for Shaman. Shaman we talked about earlier has other problems, but they also have that 1/1 totem that they have like a 25% chance of spawning every time they use their hero power, which does the exact same thing that a little dude does. So Shaman has that same sort of problem. So I think we are going to potentially enable a lot more decks now that Patron is out. But I don't know, like there are a lot of other problems with other classes that we've talked about previously that might stop some of that play, but I don't think mid-range Paladin is one of those. I think we're going to see a lot more play of that. That, Freeze Mage, just anything that's more mid to late game, we're going to start seeing a lot more of.
I agree. I'm all for it. I'm ready to jump back into it. So.
Yeah, I started playing it today again, and I got like 4-1 in like 5 games, so it's just like it's going really well.
Doesn't that feel so good?
That's a good little session, yeah.
Yeah.
A Paladin's my favorite class. I mean, Shaman was my first love, but It's just been kind of sending me really bad Valentines now for over a year. So it's all about Paladin now.
What an ass.
I got the same love. I got the same love for Mage, but I'm going more over to the Paladin. I love creating those little dudes and creating Murlocs. That's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it does feel good. I've been enjoying Mage a lot more since TGT's release. They're one of the classes I played the least amount of up until this point, but I like me some Tempo Mage. And even though Casino Mage just never works out for me, I have such a good time playing it. I still play quite a bit of Casino Mage.
Yeah, I haven't tested that yet, but I think I should get on it.
It's a good time. If RNG aligns in your favor, it's just silly. Like, you just kind of win. But even if it doesn't, there's still ways to eke out wins, and it's just an all-around fun deck. I just, as Jocelyn can attest, when back in the day when she tried to coach me in Mech Mage, I have the worst luck in the world.
Yeah,
You really do. I had my mic muted because I was typing. But yeah, no, you do. You have terrible luck when it comes to RNG. Like, whatever the worst case scenario is will happen to Garrett without fail every single time. Like, oh, Shredder, here's a Darnassus Aspirant. Enjoy losing your mana crystal. Like, just every time. It's insane.
That has not happened. But I did, like, when I was trying to get in the Mech Mage, because you were like, nah, Garrett, man, Mech Mage, it's amazing. Even Dills was like, yeah, man, do it. I'm like, fine, Joss, here, you play a lot of it, coach me. And we sat there, and 5 games in a row just drew bricks.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's like the worst thing we played is Shredder and drops dead at Doom saying we have 3 other mechs on the board.
Exactly.
Worst thing ever.
Oh, man.
Like, there goes my board, and there goes the game.
Yep, we've all been there. But we've also, we've had those games too where we get a Millhouse and we're like, yeah, eat it. That's like, eat it, opponent.
Yeah, or like an Oyotron or anything.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, great. Well, thanks for calling in, Richard.
Congratulations on your wedding, and I hope that you will have a great time.
There's no way we won't have a good time. If nothing else, I mean, like, all of our friends and family, including Jocelyn, are going to be there. How could we have a bad time? It could. Yeah. I mentioned this on the Angry Nerd, my solo show. Like, it could the sky could open up. It could basically flood. We'd still be laughing our butts off, trying to finish off the beer before the cooler gets washed away. And we'd still have a great time.
Yeah, that's a great show, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. See you around, man.
Have a good one. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Love it. I'm looking forward to the wedding.
I'm looking forward to it too, dude. It's going to be so much fun.
And then we're going to Harry Potter Park.
Then there's going to be Harry Potter. Then there's going to be Disney. Then there's going to be BlizzCon. And then I have to come back home.
Oh, it'll be fine. But at that point, you'll just be so overwhelmed. You're like, man, I can't wait for, like, a couch and Netflix. That sounds really good right now.
That's true. And actually, originally, I was planning on working the 2 weeks after BlizzCon, but now I've given my notice, so I'm actually done the day that I fly down to Florida. So I get to come home from BlizzCon and then just, like, start my streamer life. So, like, I don't have to get up and go into an office at 7:30 in the freaking morning the next day. I just get to get up and maybe Netflix and then do some streaming and some video games, and life is good.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to my life just leveling out after all this craziness is done. That'll be fun.
I can only imagine.
I don't think Mr. Sakani here is working out. So. What a shame. That's it for calls so far too. If Sakani doesn't try and call back in here, so if anyone's waiting in the wings, get your calls in, or Jocelyn and I have to think of something to talk about.
Well, actually, there was a conversation, which is why I was muted because I was typing before. But there was actually a conversation in the chat room talking about nerfing Face Hunter and wondering if Blizzard would ever take a look at that. And I mean, well, 2 different answers because I also talked about changing the hero power down to 1 damage. And
never gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I
know.
It's
a really short conversation. That'll never happen.
No, I know, but the reason for that, the reason that the Hunter hero power essentially does twice as much damage as, say, Mage, is because you can't tell it where to go unless you play that card that's pretty much unplayable. But the Hunter hero power is 2 damage instead of 1 because it goes just to face. You can't target a minion with that. So that's where that balance comes from. And if they made it targetable and put it down to 1 damage, then you just have the mage hero power. So there needs to be a little bit of flavor to each class that makes it different. But the thing is, because you can go to face with your hero power, that enables you to do a lot more kind of board control-y things with your minions. You don't have to have reach with your minions necessarily, because that's what your hero power does.
Yep.
So it seems like Hunter gets penned into, oh, face, 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 but it's actually really powerful in a kind of mid-range control arena, because you can go face with your hero power, and it is powerful because it does 2 damage instead of the mage trying to go face with the hero power. It does half as much, right? So you actually have a really kind of interesting kit with Hunter that maybe hasn't been used so much on ladder, and that I think is the fault of ladder. I don't think that's the fault of Hunter as a class. So, and in terms of like obviously nerfing face, they're not really going to nerf face Hunter. I don't even know how you'd really go about doing that, because there's just, it's basically, they're all aggro tools. Most of the things that Hunter uses are neutral minions to build that kind of a face deck. So you'd have to literally nerf an entire archetype of cards, and they're not ever going to do that, nor should they.
No,
but
they shouldn't. I mean, really, it boils down. It's not that big of a problem. It's not uninteractive. It's not. They're not bursting you down in one game. You're getting multiple turns to deal with what they were doing, and it can be beat. And it can be beat without teching in cards that are going to completely gimp your deck for the ladder as a whole. And that's just not a thing. Believe me, Face Hunter haters, I am right there with you. Nothing feels worse. It's like, oh, well, I'm so glad you just drew the perfect starting hand, and I happen to have a slightly slow start, and you just win, and there's nothing I can do. But that's an issue with card games as a whole. That's an issue with cards being shuffled and cards being drawn, and you can't fix that, and you should not punish a very strong and an archetype that has always existed in card games because of it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So, and I know that the problem, I think, with Face Hunter, because you don't see it necessarily at legend level play, and you don't see it so much in tournament play. There are a couple of players who are just known for that aggro play style, but for the most part, you only see Face Hunter when you're climbing up the ladder, which I think is why people get so frustrated, is you work so hard for that star, and then you queue into a match, you're against a Face Hunter, you get a bad draw, you lose your star, and you're like, God damn it, like I spent 25 minutes playing that control warrior, and I earned that star, and I lost it in 4 minutes to that Face Hunter, and that feels bad.
That specific scenario,
that's not a deck archetype issue. So,
right, and that specific scenario you mentioned is one of the most infuriating, which is it comes
and it applies to any aggro
time.
deck. It applies to exactly the same to, you know, mech mage, to some of the shaman decks, to aggro pally. Like anytime you have a control match and you really fight for that star, and then you go into a match against an aggro deck and you get a bad draw, or even if you don't get a bad draw and you just get bursted down in 5 or 6 turns, it still feels really bad. So I think if you guys don't like Face Hunter, or if you don't like playing against aggro, you don't need to nerf cards. You need to talk to Blizzard about how you would change ladder. And that is going to make your aggro experience, whether playing or playing against, a whole lot better.
I agree. Also, you know what feels really good? Almost dying with your control deck to an aggro deck.
True.
And then slowly reeling back in the control as you sit there with almost no life, and you just get to sit there like, yeah, eat it, you talentless bastard, and then you win. Josh, welcome to the call.
Hey Garrett. Hey Jocelyn, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right.
Yeah, not bad. I miss Dills. He's like the only guy I've actually met out of you guys in real life. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It's a shame. The one episode I called into. So I've got an idea, and for like a modification in Hearthstone. And it goes back to the idea from WoW of honorable kills. Do you guys remember playing that?
Oh yeah.
Yep. And basically the idea was that if you killed someone in a appropriate environment, that was classified as an honorable kill. What I am thinking of is something along the lines of not like overkilling your opponent, basically being rewarded for just doing a simple emote of good game and then killing them exactly to their health total, rather than waiting out the timer, spamming them with emotes. It's sort of like a way of trying to encourage people not to BM.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
You're trying to deter griefers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting.
I'm down with that. I mean, you'd have to make the whatever you're rewarding people with small enough that it didn't have a huge impact on the game. So you're talking maybe like 5 gold or something, but
Yeah,
I
like
could see
just
something
some
like
sort
that.
of little incentive for people to behave themselves because I'm trying to do a run to legend this month, and oh my goodness, the people that just sit there and they grief you to it's so frustrating. Like
Yeah.
I'm playing an aggro druid at the moment, and I think you guys were just talking about aggro. I only just called in, sorry, so I missed the first part of the episode. But like you'll drop a patron warrior down to like 4 health, and you're like, yeah, I've almost got him. And then comes the Armor Smith patron spam, and you're just like, oh no. So much for that game.
Right. Right, yeah, no, I don't think that's a terrible idea. I'd like to see like the Gentleman and Gentle Lady Award if you get enough honorable defeats. Maybe my Garrosh gets a little top hat. But it's not a permanent thing. Like if start grief and then the top hat goes away.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's almost like a mark of a not necessarily good player. That's the wrong verbiage, but
A polite
mark
player.
of an honorable player. Yeah, here's
actually,
my top hat.
yeah, no, the horde flag behind Garrosh would just turn to the Canadian flag in this scenario.
Hatchkumo in the chat room actually makes a really good point. Says he only has large minions and can't hit exact lethal. So exact lethal might be not necessarily the best measure, but
I think you really could
there's got to be some way to figure it out.
Emote spam, but at the same time, you can just squelch people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be
Well, and it's not emote spam, I think, that is the big problem, unless I'm totally misreading Josh. But I think the problem is, like, if you're sitting there, you're trying to climb ladder, you have, a limited amount of time in the day that you have to play Hearthstone, and you're sitting there waiting for somebody to, like, either kill you, or they're just, like, you've got lethal next turn, and they're just sitting there, like, letting it rope or whatever. That's the frustration. That's
I
the
get
real
that,
BS.
too, but it'd be really hard to identify
who's thinking and
who's
being
just
an ass.
life coach and who's a
Yeah.
jerk.
No, life coach always gets exempt from the rope rule. Life coach always
But
gets
you
the
see
top
what I'm
hat.
saying? Like, maybe they're a new player. Maybe this is like the first game of Hearthstone they ever played, and they seriously like maybe they could have killed you 4 turns ago, but they just don't know it and they're just figuring things out and they're reading cards for the first time. How do you know not to punish that person and how to punish the person who is literally just sitting and waiting and burning up time?
Like I guess you'd be looking at like just you could just go over sheer games played. Like after about 20, 30, 40 games, you're gonna have a pretty good idea of what's behaving yourself and what's not.
Well, then you have players like Life Coach who take the whole turn regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, because they're thinking
Which-
18,000 turns ahead.
Which I don't necessarily.
Well, if this goes to turn 57, then I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna need this Garrosh much later.
Is that a priest
Exactly.
versus priest game with nothing but healing? How does he survive fatigue to that? Anyway,
Oh, life coach finds a way.
but my point is, I don't necessarily think slow players, me being
Should
one
be-
of them, should be punished.
Yeah, like maybe, yeah, to a certain degree, but like at the same time, there's just that much like really poor behavior I've seen from people. Like even the ones that are like that you've got lethal next turn, but they've had lethal for quite some time, and they just sit there and they let you rope out. It really frustrates me. Maybe if like failing that idea of like some sort of honorable kill system of having some kind of just auto squelch. If I can just guarantee that my opponent is never going to be able to spam emotes at me before I get to squelch him, then like that's another way for me to be a bit more satisfied and focus more on the games rather than that way I can just assume the best and pretend that I'm actually playing life coach and he's
You can
roping me out unintentionally.
You can preemptively squelch, which is actually what I do, because I get very ragey in games, and emote spam sends me up a wall, and I stop paying attention to the game. So
Yeah, this is funny. I don't know, maybe it's because of the way I just generally approach emotes or what, but I seem to have real good conversations through emotes in game. Like, I don't know, everyone, because we get emails about this too, and they're just like, emote spam is the worst. I'm like, I don't get emote spammed. I have wonderful, lovely conversations. I would never use auto squelch. I mean, some people, yeah, they're jerks, but I would say 9 times out of 10, 9 games out of 10, I actually have nice little conversations. We start off with like, well met, and then we go from there.
You're the
Like,
polar opposite
sorry.
of me.
Like, whoops.
I play Hearthstone like my opponent can see me. I'm completely silent. I do nothing except play the game, and I'm very focused on it.
See, like, weird RNG things happen, and I go like, whoops, or, oh, sorry. And they're like, thanks. I'm like, I know, right? That sucked.
Wow.
Maybe I'm just thinking, maybe they're being all sarcastic and thinking I'm a jerk, and here I'm thinking I'm having wonderful conversations. I don't know, but...
I was just...
like someone spamming sorry at the end of a game, especially when you've got like that really creepy bad Gul'dan voice or something like that, is just super aggravating to me. I sit there and they're like, sorry. And you're like, oh, just kill me already. Oh my goodness.
Just squelch him, man. Just squelch him. Why don't you you have a tool. It's called squelch. Yeah. Just squelch him. I get into Heroes.
I always forget to do it. I'm more interested in playing the game than.
Well, that's it's like my habit, man. I load in, I squelch my opponent, and I play with the farm till I have 3 carrots. That's how I start every single game of Hearthstone. And if I don't get the farm, I'm disappointed because I have to have 3 carrots. It's my lucky thing. It's my weird little. I'm not joking, by the way. I have to have 3 carrots on the farm.
Do you have to have like 3 arrows in the target in the tournament map and stuff, or is it just specific to carrots?
It's specific to carrots. Has to be 3 carrots.
So Garrett likes carrots?
Yes, as a matter of fact, all the other vegetables in that farm I would not eat. Carrots are the only vegetables I would eat.
Sounds like green eggs and ham.
Especially the boots. I find those very unappealing.
Oh, yeah. Well, what type of leather are those boots made out of? No, I'm joking.
Am I really, really hungry? Am I actually starving before I have to eat this boot? While I've got you, can I do a shameless plug as well, please?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So thanks to mainly you guys and Dills as well, I finally started up my own podcast. It's called Well Played AU. We are publishing in this coming week, which is exciting. We've already had 1 reboot, and we're going through a few different hosts, but we have some mainstays, and it's actually producing some good stuff. It's mainly about board game, card game, movies, TV shows, like anything that we really enjoy and just want to share with other people. And we'll just sit down and talk about it for an hour. It's really good.
Very cool.
Awesome.
You have a wonderful accent. I'm pretty sure I could sit and listen to you talk about anything for an hour. So.
I love listening to like the little quirks of your Canadian accent as well. And every time
accent, damn it.
No. Oh, okay, prove it. Just say one thing for me. It's out and about.
Out and about.
What? Oh, there it is. It's about.
I was expecting an oot and a boot.
Yeah, see, no one says
that's
that.
the joke.
I have boots; they go on my feet.
That is the joke. There is a way that like most Canadians handle an OU sound. That is, it's much more subtle. But it's yeah, no.
I do know I say A a lot, so.
I say A a lot though, and I've never been to Canada, so.
And apparently, I say sorry funny.
You do say sorry, but again, it's a Canadian thing. Like it's fine. It's fine. It's like 99% American accent, and then every now and then you say sorry or about, and you're like, wait, what? Why are you saying it like that?
Yeah, I would happily forgo my accent in exchange of, say, living roughly close to BlizzCon and where all the good conventions are. The only good thing we have is PAX Oz, alas.
All right,
yeah,
man.
I flew over to BlizzCon a couple of years ago, just as you guys were kicking off, and I was like, this is the best experience I've ever had, and it's so hideously expensive to come over from us.
It
Alas.
really is. I'd like to go to Australia really bad.
I was just thinking the same
it's on
thing.
my list,
I'd
man.
love to be there.
I want to get out there. It's very expensive to go. That's why I haven't gone. Really.
Well, if you guys were ever in Sydney, I'm more than happy to show you around. I'm very much I've lived here all my life and know all the area and the restaurants and stuff. It's great.
Nice.
That's great, man. Well, I will find you when I do finally make it out there, because I will go out there at some point. It has to happen.
Happening.
Has to happen.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, Josh, thank you.
Yeah, just get Dills. He'll put you in touch with me. Yeah.
Great.
It goes for anyone. I love showing people around the city. It's really great.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Josh. Thanks for calling in.
No worries. Thanks, guys. See you.
Going?
Thanks.
Oh, I love when people talk about Canadian accents. Always makes me happy. Looks like Sakani is maybe back.
Maybe.
Oh, Hey,
Hey.
you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wow. This is different. I'm actually at work right now.
Oh, lovely. Are you beating a keyboard to death?
No, I'm kicking things. I'm actually in a FedEx truck.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, are you delivering
So
anything?
we have Sakani live on location.
I am grabbing boxes out of the truck to deliver them right as I speak.
Are you on your way to my house with over 200 feet of Christmas lights to light a tent for a wedding?
I'm sorry, I do not think Central Florida is on my route. My apologies.
Shoot. That's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. Well, how you doing, man? Do you have a question for us?
I had one, but I started getting self-conscious because I can't pay attention to the conversation as it's happening. So I'm scared that did someone ask this already? So now I'm getting self-conscious.
Well, let's put it to rest. We're here talking about a video game multiple times a week now, so don't be self-conscious. What was your question? And we will gladly inform you politely if it was already asked.
Okay. It was just new player advice. You guys talk about that yet or no?
No, actually no. Most of the conversation tonight has been about esports or the Warsong nerf or both. So go for it. What was your new player advice question?
Well, yeah, I'm just getting back in the game after about maybe a year and a half. I'm not sure.
Oh wow,
A long time. Put like this. I just started playing maybe a month ago, and just for reference, I beat normal Kelthus out for the first time yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, you have been out. You've been out of the Hearthstone game for a little while.
Yeah, and so basically, yeah. So basically, that's what I've done right now. I've tried, to clear next round. So I'm trying to go through all the class challenges now. I messed around in Tavern Brawl. I'm still doing horribly at Arena. That has not changed, unfortunately. And I am in this place that's playing loud music. I apologize.
Well, I know right now, anyways, Ryan and I are going through and doing a series for new players in Hearthstone because Ryan had a very similar situation to you where he kind of got into Hearthstone, got out of Hearthstone, never really got really competitive in it or anything like that. Stopped before Nax, or I guess partway through Nax. And so we've been doing a video series of just generally what it's like to come back into the game now. He's been playing free to play for the most part, although he just went and bought The Last Adventure, Black Rock Mountain. But for the most part, he's been doing the free to play thing. And just like we've been going through like how to build a deck and, how to beat the challenges in Nax and just all that kind of new player experience, given that there's so much content now. So if you want to check that out, it's called Ryan Wrecked Ranked, and you can find him on Twitter, and he's at @rmurphy, and he's been posting a lot of those videos, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been totally eye-opening for me because I feel like I've kind of lost my new player perspective because we've been in the game so seriously for so long. It's just like
you're officially pro now. That's what you are.
like I look at the collection, I'm like, wait, you don't have that card? Like I totally thought everyone had that card, and it's been really eye-opening for me at the same time.
Well,
so.
not everyone has taken out a second mortgage to get every card in the game, so.
No
Well,
kidding.
I haven't done that either, Garrett. Sheesh.
This is a series by Gamers in Ryan, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, why haven't I heard of this before? What the heck?
Yeah, that guy. Ryan's that guy.
Okay. And I don't have any. I don't know. Let's flip the script. You guys want to ask me a question?
Actually, yeah. How has your experience been overall coming back to Hearthstone?
I got lulled into a false sense of security. What happened was I started off at rank 25. I put together I guess like a tempo maze sort of with fairly inexpensive cards. And from 25 to about 19, I was just like, "Wee! I haven't lost a step. I was just winning everything. Yay!" and then I started running into
So loud.
And then I started running into the meta decks. So I think there was a mech mage that sort of melts in my face. And there was a patron warrior that made me want to cry. And
Well, those are gone now, so don't worry about it.
Go ahead and sign off.
hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Oh wow.
This thing?
Yeah.
All right.
And then can you go ahead and sign in for our vendors?
Really?
Yeah, we have to get all of you.
Fine.
Like 2 seconds.
2 seconds is up, so take
Just
longer
in
than
case
that,
you get
obviously.
hurt from the that you walked
Is this
in that
really
door.
happening?
This is totally
Oh.
happening.
It's really happening.
Need more-
I wanted to
need
edit
more
the
room?
hell out of this.
You can put it at the bottom.
What's today's date? What's today's date?
20th.
20th, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, voices in my head. I appreciate this. I've got some chickens on the phone. Yeah, I got some chickens on the phone. Really? Yeah, chickens or
Oh wow.
All
not
right.
chicken. I don't think they taste that good. Not chicken wings. Sorry.
I don't know how to react to this.
I know,
What?
great way to end the episode.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good place to end things.
Imagine. Okay, fine. I'll get off here. when you're imaginary people, you gotta roll with it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, thank you, Sakani, and best of luck coming back to Hearthstone.
No problem. You guys have a good one.
Have a good one, man. Wow.
So that
Oh,
happened.
jeez. Oh,
Wow.
oh, I was incapable of knowing what to do with that scenario. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is real great live listening going on right now.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, let's take just one more call. You got time?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You are our last caller. No pressure. Hello, Mac.
Holy cow. Hey guys.
Hi.
I'm gonna mute the stream.
How you doing? Do you have a question?
I'm great. Yeah, no, I do. I actually have a couple. So this first one's kind of generic, and I'm gonna throw it out there even though Dills is not here. I was wondering, a lot of people have been talking about Warrior in Arena. If you guys could make up like one thing that you would like to see them add to Warrior as a class that might save them in Arena, make them a lot better, what do you think it would be? What do you think Warrior needs at this point?
I was gonna say, Garrett, this is gonna be all you because Arena is not my forte.
I don't know in terms of, I'm going to kind of not answer your question, but I will give you an answer. I don't know in terms of what needs to be added in terms of a new card or multiple cards. I would like to see a precedent set. I would like to see Blizzard actually tamper with the rarity of the basic collection. It is something I would like to see happen in the arena, not just for Warrior. I'd like to see the rarity of Flame Strike tweaked.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair that Flame Strike is a common class card and something like Lightning Storm is a rare class card, where Flame Strike is, I would say, objectively better than Lightning Storm.
Like globally, you would change rarities across all the classes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to sit down and look at every single card to give you a good list. But off the top of my head, way back when Hearthstone first came out and we were really diving into Arena, the big thing was like, why in the world is Flame Strike common? Why is it so easy for mages to find? Same thing with Fireball.
Well, yeah, and I think the issue there is that they haven't really assigned a rarity to the basic cards. So the stuff that you get by leveling up your class is just no rarity.
It's common.
And so it's treated as common in Arena, and I think that that's the problem, is you need a basic kit with really strong tools if you're never going to buy expert packs. Like, you have to still be able to play the game. So that's why cards like Flame Strike exist, and you get that through leveling. But at the same time, when you go into Arena, treating that as common, it's not fair, it's not balanced. And so I think even just like having a set of basic cards but still assigning a rarity to those basic cards, I don't think that's a problem. They just have to figure out a way to kind of like flag them as basic. Like, the fact that they have no rarity is what lets you know that that's like a soulbound card. So I think that they just need to find another way to tell you that and assign a rarity to all of those cards. And I think that would fix a lot of things, because you do have to have strong basic cards, but they need to, they need to take arena balance into consideration, which I don't think that they did.
Right. If Bolster's not a basic card, but if Bolster wasn't common, it would help. If Warsong Commander wasn't common, it would help.
Right.
And when we were looking at the TGT cards when they were first coming out and being previewed, we kind of noticed this pattern that, wow, all the epic cards are super wacky. They all have very weird abilities. So say, Warsong Commander's new effect and the old effect were weird and strange, and they're not something I feel like it's like, oh yeah, I get this. Let's rock with it. If you made Warsong Commander an epic, even though it's a terrible card, but there's plenty of epic cards that are terrible. It would severely help the warrior in that light, and that would also, like I said, I'd like to see that precedent set. I would like to know that is a tool in Blizzard's kit that they can bring out when they want to adjust the balance in Arena, and they've never once done it, and that concerns me.
Sure. Do you think they missed an opportunity with the Warsong Commander change to do something meaningful for Warrior in Arena, maybe?
Oh, I mean, I feel like any change to Warrior that doesn't affect them in Arena is a missed opportunity. So definitely. I mean, we had it walked on yesterday, so I don't want to retread it too much because I feel like we kind of all set our pieces on it. But to reiterate, I kind of look at that change to the Warsong as not taking Arena into account. I don't think the change was made to affect Arena. And it clearly wasn't. It was made to affect Control. It was made to not Control, Constructed. It was made to affect Patron Warrior specifically. It sadly has another negative effect on Warrior in the Arena.
Yeah, and Brode addressed that too in his video, right?
Barely.
Yeah, very, very shortly, yeah.
Sorry.
And I think...
puppy!
This is
Hi,
Max.
puppy. Hi, Max.
Shameless cuteness on the stream, right?
Papillon?
He is a Pappy Corgi mix.
Oh, that is an adorable crossbreed.
My European Union dog.
Oh, that's adorable. We have a long-haired Chihuahua. So I'm a sucker for small, long-haired animals.
I would not to distract from the cute puppiness, but I would actually like Blizzard to kind of comment on how much they take Arena into account when they're balancing cards, because I know specifically I play a lot of Smite, and when they balance gods, which are basically the same as heroes and Heroes of the Storm, when they balance the gods, they balance it based on Conquest, which is like the 3-lane traditional MOBA map. They don't balance it based on my favorite game mode, which is actually, funny enough, is like the random crazy game mode. So I'm wondering if they're balancing based on Constructed alone and just not kind of being forthright about that. Like, we're talking about balance in Arena. Basic cards could point to the fact that they don't care about balance in Arena. Like, everyone is affected by the same things the same way in Arena, and you get 12 wins, and then you start over at 0 again. Like, there's no ladder in Arena. There's no Arena tournaments. Like, people have tried, but you really can't. And so, like, I'm wondering if that's just part of it, is they're not balancing based on Arena because it's not a... traditionally competitive mode.
Yeah, I really personally take issue with that line of thinking, not because I necessarily disagree with you, but because I don't think it's going to see results. I would, if you go down that hole, the hole of, well, they just don't bounce around Arena, period, and they just aren't telling us that they don't care. I think that's also an argument for why we're not seeing any tools that allow us to play Arena competitively or to host true Arena tournaments, because if Arena became an esport, all of a sudden they would have to care about the balance. They would have to balance the Arena. And this is a problem in any game with PvP with multiple modes. World of Warcraft sees the same issue. There's a huge World of Warcraft population that only cares about PvE, and there's a huge population that only cares about PvP. Unfortunately, it is the same game, so messing with one does have effects on the other.
Yeah.
Right, and well, they're going to address that in Legion, though, so we're really excited about that.
They've been addressing it, and I feel like they have been doing relatively good jobs. I don't think they've ever done anything as good as Wintergrass, which is sad because it is now useless to do. But and again, personal opinions here. This is not objective. It's not like Wintergrass was the greatest it's ever been. Fact, but. That's kind of the point.
Wintergrass is the greatest it's ever been.
So back to you, Jocelyn. Like if we operate under the assumption that they don't care about Arena, I don't feel like we're gonna have conversations that get anywhere. If we operate under the assumption that they do care about Arena, and everyone in unison is saying it's not good enough, Arena is bad, fix it. You're not giving us what we want. We're going to play less of your game. You will, squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Right.
True.
I know you guys are trying to wrap up the show. Is it cool if I shift gears and ask one other question?
Sure, as long as it's okay if our answer is relatively short.
Sure. I don't think you'd want to go into too much detail because it would be like its own podcast. But I'm really interested in trying to get involved with streaming.
Oh, okay.
But I only play Blizzard games, and so like I can play them all on my Mac, and we're like total Mac fanboy family here. My wife and I both. Just everything's Mac.
I'm not sure if any of us can help you with the question I think you're about to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was looking for like a resource, like some place where I could find, because a lot of the overlays and stuff they don't even work on a Mac.
No, they don't. I don't know. I want to say Brian Brushwood streams from a Mac, but I don't know if he streams gameplay.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, everyone I know that streams from a PC, or they stream from a Macintosh that has a Windows partition on it.
Yeah, I could always boot camp. I could always do that.
Right, and that is annoying. I have done that with Macs I used to be Mac only. Last like 3 years, I switched to PC.
It's beautiful. I mean, you can play all the Blizzard games on the Mac, but does OBS work on Mac?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I don't think that XSplit does. I think XSplit is PC only. And I know, Garrett, you use XSplit too, right? Because
XSplit is PC only. It looks like OBS is Mac compatible.
Yeah.
Okay.
They even have a Mac specific forum on their website. So if that works, man, that's your answer right there. Everyone, if you're not using XSplit, you're using OBS. So it is a standard program that everyone uses. So that's what it's looking. Yeah. Okay. Chat rooms. Confirming. So
it.
I would definitely go down OBS because it's well known. There's plenty of resources for it. It looks like their official website has a very deep rabbit hole of Macintosh specific threads that you can dive into.
Okay.
And other than that, I mean, decent camera, decent microphone, which nowadays are not that expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a whole lot easier to get into streaming now. That's for sure.
Cool. Well, I almost didn't push the button after that FedEx call, but I'm really glad I did. It's tough to follow that up, right?
Now, you restored sanity, so thank you.
Hey, Garrett, man, I'm in Hawaii, and I don't know if you saw, but I typed on the chat on the stream yesterday, but it doesn't sound like you're coming to my island.
No,
if you guys are just going to Maui.
We're just going to Maui, yeah.
You'll dig it. It's like the resorty. Well, it's kind of where the rich people go, so...
Who's the 1% now, Garrett?
It was a gift!
No, you'll enjoy it. This is the best time of year to be out here. It's not ridiculously hot all the time. We have our trade winds, so you'll enjoy it.
I'm really looking forward to it. I can't tell you enough how much I'm looking forward to it. Katie and I have been wanting to go Hawaii forever. We had to pick an island. One of my friends whose parents are from there was like, "Oh, go to Maui. Done. Don't even think about it." So we're really looking forward to it. We're big saltwater people. We want to go snorkeling. We want to go see the crater. We want to go see the Black Sand Beach. We want to go hike up the volcano. We're looking forward to it.
It's like another planet, man. The landscape is like another planet. It's crazy.
In my head, I feel like I'm just going to open into the first level of Halo 3 with just so much lush jungle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's really nice to finally meet you guys. I've been listening to the show since pretty much the beginning. So hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
All right, Mac. Well, thank you for calling in. It was good talking to you. Talk to you again soon.
Take care, guys. Have a good afternoon. Well, a good night, I guess, for you.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
He was just a downright pleasant person.
Yes,
with
very
an
much so.
Adorable dog. Oh my God, what a perfect mixed breed of adorableness.
I know. Anything plus corgi to me, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it's funny. I know the running gag on the show is like, oh, Garrett gets really angry about things. But like, you should see me around anything small and fluffy, guys. I'm pathetic. I'm just like, oh, puppy, let me pet it.
I've seen him with the Chihuahua. It's a sight.
Yeah. I really enjoy small fuzzy things. So, anyways, guys, that is gonna do it for this episode. Huge thanks to our patrons because we wouldn't be doing this without you. So thank you for supporting the show, every single one of you. We really do appreciate it. As you can see, we're doing far more content than we ever used to, and it's all because of you guys, so thank you. But yeah, that'll do it. Joss, where can folks find you?
Best place to keep up with whatever I'm doing is over on Twitter. I am at Joss Plays. My Twitch channel is the same. I'm going to be streaming after this. I just have to do some dinner type thing, and then we're going to jump into Life is Strange. So, yeah, if you guys want to check that out, twitch.tv/JossPlays.
Awesome. Real quick, Mac, who just called in, if you're still listening, Barry Von Awesome in the chat room is offering to help you get streaming on a Mac. So hook up with Mr. Von Awesome. See if he lives up to his name. We want a report. Everyone go follow Dills on Twitter, at Willie Dills. You can follow me, at Garrett Art. And just again, thanks to our patrons. That'll do it for this one. Job's done.
Job's done.
Should we just yes? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Yes!
Yes!